draw a crowd like this besides my old man for retirement.
I'm sorry.
It's an honor to stand up here and introduce the old man. It's, you know, on the signs it says the man, the myth, the legend. So without further ado, let's bring him up and get the party started. My dad, Mr. G, bring him up. What a crowd. Wow. A couple of quick thank yous before we start. Without these people, tonight would not have happened. Holy Cross for letting us use the gym to accommodate all these people, so we appreciate that. Mr. Jerry Rail, I don't know if everybody knows Jerry Rail, but the music and setting up from Jerry Rail, we appreciate it. Was Jimmy Quinn. JQ did a great job. He was up here helping me and my sister out. Great job, JQ. His son was friendly here helping out. So great job. Gail from Holy Cross, she helped us get the email list and put this thing together, so we appreciate that, Gail. Thank you. Gilberto and Hector, friends of my dad's for a long time. Helped out with the food and set the place up. It looks great. James Benesh on technology and sound. We appreciate your help, James. Thank you. Marty Stein sent some great photos of the old man from a long time ago. So thank you, Marty. And last but not least, my sister Laura, as usual, with the golf outing and events like this, is great. Insane OCD, over-the-top event planning. Everything you guys see, she pretty much printed up in a one-bedroom apartment. The place is, you know, looks fantastic. She has memory, and she calls them memory and message papers on the table. So if you guys want to write a little story about the old man, drop it in the box. We'll give it to him at the end of the night, and he can take it home. So Laura, you know, great job. Thank you very much. Last but not least, you know, the crowd tonight, which truly makes it a special night. It's graduates and family from 5 decades of Holy Cross history. So give yourselves a round for making it a great night. So Dad, there's some special guests in the house tonight that I wanted to recognize that have traveled here tonight to this party farther than you've vacationed in the last 50 years. Not a joke. Rich and Judy David from the old block, Parsons Boulevard, came up from Virginia. Bill Blumenjack from Ohio. John Kiston came up from Florida. Ricky Schneider Jr. from Florida and Chicago came up. Coach Dennis Wolf from Virginia Tech. My man Stephen Bax, North Carolina. There's Stephen Bax. Holy Cross's legendary basketball coach for, I don't know how many years, somebody can yell it out if they want, but from South Carolina, Mr. Jimmy Kerr. And of course, can't leave out Mr. Kerr without Mr. Pugh, so another legendary coach, Mr. Pugh, right there. but not least, who came the furthest to come on this trip was the guy who I remember from a long time ago when my dad was the varsity B coach, Darren Horton. All the way from California, flew in with his wife, so give Darren a big round. So Dad, there's a couple of guys that unfortunately they couldn't make it, but they wanted to extend their congratulations via video. So do me a favor, just back me a seat for a second.
He's telling me what to do.
Okay, Laura, whenever you guys say again.
Hey, Mr. G, I heard you're retiring from one deal to another from the South Academy from Queens. Love you. Congratulations. Good luck.
Hey, Mr. G, this is Byron Scott, head coach of Los Angeles Lakers. I heard you're retiring after 50 years of coaching. Congratulations. Holy Cross is going to miss you dearly. Take care.
From another CHSAA high school coach to another coach, congratulations on a great career and for helping so many young people out. You're really what the Catholic school is all about, and you made it a better place. I wish you the best, and I know that a lot of people wish you the best also.
So thanks Darren Horton, straight from LA with Byron Scott, very good, and Mr. Schaefer. Thank you very much, appreciate that, guys. Thank you. So I want to make it brief because we have a few speakers tonight, but nothing I can say tonight can sum up how we truly feel about the old man. You know, I'm going to give it a shot anyway, but it's going to be tough. How fitting a place, Holy Cross, the gym, the varsity B, you know. 50 years ago, the legacy started with Dad in the gym. I have vivid memories of my sister Sarah, you know, on February break. The gym's 30 degrees, it's February break, and it's 6:30 in the morning, and me and my sister are 5, 6, 7 years old, and we're watching the old man chase the kids around the gym and varsity B practice. So it's a fitting place to come back to for me and my family. Holy Cross has been a part of our family for a long time. The amazing part about it is that Dad devoted 100% of his time and effort, obviously, to Holy Cross over these years, but somehow devoted that same 100% to his kids at home. He never missed a practice, a game. He coached all of our teams. He was always around. He instilled in us the importance of what this place, Holy Cross, is all about: faith, education, character, and athletics as a way to build a strong work ethic. Because of his own work ethic at this place, he was able to put all of his kids through college, and we appreciate that very much. The guy never missed an event. I mean, for most of the guys that know him really well, the guy was everywhere. He never missed an event. A basketball game, football game, soccer games, sports awards dinners, the Honor Society, graduations, you name it, he pretty much came to every single event. At times it was somewhat painful because I would ask him to come over on a Monday night to watch a football game or grab a bite to eat, and he would say, I would love to, but Kitty and the Women's Guild have a bridge tournament. Kitty and the women of the Women's Guild have a bridge tournament, and he wants to make sure it shows his face and does the right thing. God forbid he missed that night. So he taught us all at home, and as well as most of the kids here, to grind it out. Not only on the field, not on the court, but only in life as well. He was always there for us through good times and tough times, and he was always about a man about doing the right thing, always. As I just ran into a couple other guys from Queens, and they were telling me some old Mr. G stories. But as a kid, I would run into guys from Queens all the time, whether it be on Bell Boulevard or Long Island or at work. Somebody would always run into me and say, "Yo, you're G's kid?" And I would say, "Yeah." And he said, "Wow, that guy's crazy." They would say, "Dad helped me through school. He was a mentor in my life. He was, I wouldn't be the man I am today without him." So, if I had a nickel for every kid that I ran into over the years, just in the neighborhood, that would say unbelievable things about the old man. I'd probably be retiring myself tonight. So always good stuff. And you know, even the kids that he kicked out of school, those were great stories too. I would run into guys and they would say, "Yo, your father kicked me out of school in '89, but I love him." Impossible. Not too many times the guy kicks you out of school and you still love the guy, but that's how all the kids in the neighborhood felt about him. And I'm sure some of you guys know that here, the Jones Beach stories. I'm just hearing stories from when he comes home. Right? So he would round up the kids at Jones Beach in the van that was on senior cut day. And, you know, I ran into this one kid in Queens one day, and he's like, "Your father's crazy, man. He dragged me in the van and brought me back to prep." The kid didn't even go to cross, and he yelled at him and told him, "Get in the car anyway, I'm going to take your prep." And then, so those were classics. The same type of kid, you know, the kid graduated, right? My father's yelling at him. The kid's like, "I graduated, G, 2 years ago. I still gotta come anyway." So those are classic stories. I mean, I can go all night, but I want to wrap it up. Only one time, this one kid, of all these years that I've been running into kids from Cross and guys from Cross, one guy in all these years talked bad about the old man. So I said, you know, I was working in Queens one day, and I was working at the feast, and I ran into this kid. He's got a Holy Cross t-shirt on. So I said to him, I said, "You go to Cross, how's it going?" He said, "Yeah, it's going great. School's great, but this Mr. G is driving me crazy. The guy's nuts. He's on top of the roof watching me cheat. He's giving me detentions. He's calling my mother. He's on the borderline of kicking me out of school. The guy's just, I've had enough. He's just too much of a pain in the ass. I've had enough." So I said, "Yeah, you and me both." I said, "The guy kicked me out of school at Cross in 1989. So he goes, "No way." So I said, "Yeah, it's just whatever. He's crazy." So I go home with the story. Of course, I go tell my dad what happened, and he, of course, calls the kid into the school the next day. Reads the kid the riot act. "I heard you ran into a friend of ours in Queens the other day, and you know, you talking trash about me, and you know, saying bad stuff about how I'm giving you detention and doing all these crazy things." And you know, the kid's a deer in headlights. He has no clue what's going on. He goes, "Gee, I didn't say anything." He goes, "No, he goes, "Do you know who that was you were talking to the other day?" The kid goes, "No." He goes, "That was my son. 5 more days detention just for having a big mouth, and get out of my office." Anyways, Johnny Clark, we were playing golf this weekend. Johnny Clark said something to me that stuck with me. He said, the great John Wooden said it, but Johnny Clark reminded me of it. So I take that back. But reputation is what people think of you. Character is who you really are. And no one backed up their reputation with character. Like the old man. So we're more than happy that you retired. You get to spend time with the kids, the grandkids, and the rest of your family. So we wish you the best. God bless. God bless everybody here tonight. We got a great night for you. And that's it. Yo, God bless the old man. Let's give him another round of applause. Before we go any further, guys, I want to bring up Mr. Genovese, who's one of my dad's longtime, lifelong friends at Holy Cross. Faculty member from 1969 to 2013, spent 44 years at Holy Cross. Been a great friend of mine for a long time. I want to have him come up and bless the food, bless the night, and say a couple of things about my dad. Mr. Genovese.
Gracious God, as we gather tonight to acknowledge and honor Joseph and his supporting family, we thank you for this evening, for our conversations, and for the food that we will share, and for all the blessings of this life. We pray that Joseph and his family might find in this gathering just one more piece of evidence of how much Joseph is appreciated and loved. His enduring service and dedication to Holy Cross and community has been so remarkable. We ask you to be at Joseph's side as he and his family begin this new chapter in his life, and that he be renewed in body and soul. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. I'm going to just say a few words. I mean, Joseph hit on a lot of topics, and I'm sure the speakers are going to all say basically the same thing. All right? No. You have to suffer through this. How do you put in so many words the lifetime of dedication to Holy Cross? It's just impossible. So I'm going to attempt to do justice and capture the essence and character of my good friend Joe Giannuzzi. I have an imaginary dictionary, and if you look at the letter G, aside from finding God's name there, you find this man. That person is defined as a humble yet well-known man, hardworking family man, dedicated teacher and coach, a one-of-a-kind dean, as many of you can attest, principal, vice president, a Hall of Famer who bleeds green and gold. G is a man who is a mentor and father figure to so many students, a faith-based person who practices what he preaches. He's an honest, down-to-earth man. What you see is what you get. There are no frills and no fanfares. That's Mr. G. Joe's educational outlook has been greatly influenced by his relationship with the brothers of the Congregation of Holy Cross. That influence started with his high school days at school and his start as a teacher 46 years ago. And Joe credits them for changing his vision of educating boys into men. Joe and I started in September of 1969. And in a short time, we were a team together. We were offered a job coaching the freshman football team. And that was the start of a lasting friendship. Over the years that followed, our families, along with the O'Maras, the Kerrs, the Pravidis, the Schneiders, we all bonded very close. We did everything we could to support our families. Our summer months were filled with a variety of jobs to supplement our teaching. I remember Joe starting with his hot dog stand. And then somewhere along the line, thanks to Jimmy Kerr, Joe and I were introduced to the art of Oriental cuisine distribution.
Explain what that means.
The art of delivering Chinese food. And then again, thanks to Jim Kerr, there were many trips where Joe drove the line to the lighthouse, to and from the lighthouse. There's stories on that. And then delivering newspapers, and the list of jobs go on. Our summer months were filled with a variety of jobs, and it was all done to support our families. As has been mentioned, Joe is known by all, and I mean by all, as Mr. G or G. These are terms of affection used by thousands of students and graduates. Joe realized the value of getting to know students, both in the classroom and outside the classroom, and he always treated them fairly, employing tough love to remedy any situation. And as an administrator, he has always been down to earth, getting things done without drawing attention to himself, encouraging yet challenging, but always supporting faculty members to be the best they could be. It has been my experience that no matter where you go, you meet someone who knows Joe, whether it's a faculty member, a past faculty member, a parent, a past student, alumnus. They speak so fondly and respectfully about him. It is truly a testimony to his goodness in dealing with others. He indeed is a legend in his own time. As we know, there are countless stories that were passed down that Joe supported them, guided them, given fatherly advice. And then there were stories of his unique disciplinary techniques. I've always admired his personalized approach to students. That is basically his trademark here at Holy Cross, how well he knew the students. Joe has an uncanny skill of recalling the names and stories of alumni. This is not an easy task when you consider that over a period of 46 years, you multiply that by 2 to 250 students, that's a lot of students to get to know. As we all know, Joe had a creative way of dealing with students and getting to the truth when someone was in trouble. And one of the favorite stories that I have is when he was dean. There's and the students know this, if you came late in school, there was a little machine in your dean's office. This is true. And they had to slide a piece of paper, and then it clocked the time you came in. And then depending on what type of excuse you gave, you either got a late detention or a late excuse. Then you took that paper and brought it into the classroom, and that's the way you got in. Well, this one student was in deep trouble, and Joe knew he was guilty from the outset. Well, this one machine they had was defective. It had a short. And so he had to put it out of commission. But he didn't throw it away, he kept it on his desk, and it was unplugged. So he called the student in, and he says to the student, listen, you gotta tell the truth. I have this machine here, this is a lie detector. This was his version, his Rube Goldberg version of a lie detector. And he said to the student, you gotta put your hand on the machine. I'm gonna ask you some questions. You tell the truth, no problem. But if you don't tell the truth, it's gonna buzz. So he starts off asking simple questions. What's your name? Kid tells him his name. You know, some innocuous questions, etc., etc. And he finally gets to the essence of why he called the student in. Did you do such and such yesterday? Expecting the kid to tell the truth and say yes, the student says no. Joe plugs the machine in, it buzzes, the kid is caught in a lie. And of course the kid eventually tells the truth, and I don't know how Joe does it, but he has a straight face throughout the whole There are many stories. As we all know, Joe loves his sports. But his first love, of course, is basketball. Whether it's watching his favorite teams like Villanova and Notre Dame, they both won today. That's a good omen, Joe. Or listening to WFAN, or coaching Varsity B for 25 years. And you know what that is, the early sacrifice in the morning. He had a famous game, and I think Timmy Lasanti is going to talk about that. One of his famous games was against inmates at Friends Academy on Rikers Island. That was an experience. And of course, he spent many years, over 30 years, in service to his parish CYO basketball team at St. Elizabeth's. And his first love, of course, were the basketball teams right here at Holy Cross. He was their biggest fan. And of course, the Matthew Giannuzzi Memorial Basketball Tournament in memory of his son. Above all, I have always known Joe as a man of faith, coping with life happenings and the tragedies that came his way. He did this by being anchored in the cross. And this is not something easy to do, but it was quite another thing for him to actually live his faith. Joe, we all wish you the best. May your retirement years continue to be with good health. May you have good years to do what you want to do with your beautiful family, your wife Marianne, your children Sarah, Joseph, Junior, and Laura, and their spouses and your grandchildren. Joe, this is where your life has arrived. After all the years of effort and toil, now look back with graciousness and thanks on all your great and quiet achievements. Now it's time to open your life to what is left undone and enjoy time with your family and friends. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Genovese. Class of 1989, John Powers. Come on up, John, for a few words about Mr. G. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I'm looking out over this room. I can't tell you how honored I am to be standing in front of all of you on behalf of the man, the myth, and the legend. And he let us know that every day for all 4 years that I was here. And I look at the road that got us here tonight, that got Mr. Giannuzzi here tonight, a student, a teacher, an administrator, a dean of discipline, principal, a mentor, a disciplinarian. And look at how packed this room is, full of people who love this man. I can't tell you again how honored I am. Many of us, and it's been alluded to, just know him simply as G, as in, G gave me detention today. Or, yo, put that cigarette down, here comes G. And this one, why am I soaking wet? Because G put a hose into the first floor Spanish test and started to spray us all down because he thought the entire room was cheating. Now, just remember, the first floor, the windows are like 12 feet high. We're in the middle of the test, and I'm not going to say anybody was cheating, that's not my job. I'm just going to say that there's some guys comparing some answers in the back. And somehow Giannuzzi found out about it and scaled the wall outside with a hose and decided he was going to wash out you rats. Some guys got 5 days detention for comparing answers. Some guys up in the front, they got to walk. We all got soaking wet. One guy got to ride the rail. Now the rail, if you're not familiar, is the red line around the outside of the gym. And the way you rode the rail was hands and feet, and you walked around until he said, "Bowers, did you learn your lesson?" So obviously that guy was me. I thought I was skating off. It didn't work out. I would have rather had the 5 days detention for sure. And by the time that happened, it was dawning on me that this guy knows everything that's going on. He not only knew exactly who was fighting at 217 at Carvel, but on any given day, he knew the freshman undercard. When I was a freshman, I remember this day very, very well. It was the day I bought my first pool pass. I bought a couple. This isn't about me. It's about him. So I'm looking out the windows. I had a classroom on the second floor, and I'm looking out the window and making some friends. It's a couple of weeks into school. It's still nice out. And I see this guy walking across the roof. You hear stories. I had friends from my neighborhood who had gone here. I'm like, this is crazy. There's a guy walking across the roof. And as he gets to a window, he's looking in the window. And he walks away and he peers around the side of another window. And I could, you're gonna get detention if you talk in class. So I'm kind of trying to get the guy next to me. And by the time I get the guy next to me, it's too late. The dude that was out on the roof kind of hunched over and looked right at me. And I felt like I was in that film with the Sasquatch. Because he was looking right at me like, son, nobody's gonna believe you. And he got into the window. So I went outside after class and I took a textbook and I banged on the wall 3 times like a wood knock out in the woods. Nobody knew what I was doing. The teacher came over and gave me detention. So I show up after school and that's the guy. I'm like, you're the hairy bastard that was outside. You're that guy. So we got to write out, you got to write 500 times something from Thomas Aquinas about respect or something. So I slid in a couple of times like, when I become an adult, I'm going to practice my public speaking and come after you one night when you least expect it. You hairy son of a bitch. I mean, the guy's knowledge of what was going on didn't just stop at Cross. Somebody alluded to Jones Beach. I heard stories about College Point. There was a time where I was taking the bus, and my route went on Hillside Avenue to Francis Lewis Boulevard, and I decided it would be smart for me to get out of the bus with some friends of mine from down there and have a, we'll call it a discussion with some guys from Bayside High School. So it was off of Francis Lewis Boulevard, about 2 blocks up into the housing development, and we were matching up against some other sophomores from Bayside. The guys happened to be 21 years old. And I hear this kind of familiar noise even then. I think it was my sophomore year. I hear the sound of the Aries K car, the gray Aries K car coming around the corner. With that, I turn around and I see it, and all my friends from Holy Cross dive off into the side. I thought it was because of G. It was because the 21-year-old handed to the 18-year-old freshman what everybody knew to be a gun. And I'm standing in the middle of the street, and the car pulls up, he pulls me in the car, and we take off. And my takeaway from that story, ladies and gentlemen, is you don't ever want to be seen in the hood in a car with 13-inch rims. I still get it from the guys today. Me and those guys from Bayside are tight. I know them all now. They couldn't be here tonight, some of them are upstate. I was gonna have a reenactment. I went out and built a new K car, but I couldn't get those dudes down. Mr. G was my coach for 2 years on the varsity B, and the season started in November. And from November until the day I graduated, I thought my first name was Damn It to Hell. Damn It to Hell Powers. When they announced my name at graduation, I sat in my seat. John Powers, that's you, guy. No, it's Damn It to Hell Powers. Everybody's got to get this straight. That's what I've been called for the last 18 months. I had a great time at Cross for 4 years. I had an even better experience getting to know someone that was truly a mentor in every way. You didn't just learn because Mr. G was telling you something. That rarely happened. You learned because he was showing you. And he was showing you life lessons. And you didn't even know it. And that's why this room is full of, as I look around, successful people, happy people, and people just sharing in the joy that is the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Giannuzzi. Thanks a lot.
That's why he's a criminal attorney today.
Johnny Clark. Okay, John, that was great, man. John, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you. So, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We have a family friend of mine who Big Sal was kind enough to cruise in with, Mr. Johnny Clark. He, if you guys don't know him, he's a great guy. He runs our Two Brothers golf outing. He does a great job, and you know, when he found out about tonight, he just was biting at the bit to come in and help us out. So without further ado, Johnny Clark to the stage, please.
I'm definitely dangerous. I'm definitely going to take it easy. First of all, it is my distinct pleasure to be here tonight as we honor Mr. Giuliani. No? Sorry, folks, I think I have the wrong date. That's next week. We've got Rudy here. If you want, we have nothing to do on, but I'm here for Giannuzzi. Fine. I'll honest to God, this guy is an incredible man, and I haven't known him as long as many of you have, but this is a man who burst on the scene pretty much around the same time as the Beatles. Not the band, the life form. I mean, I don't know, I look at Mr. G, and he's a little older than me, but I saw him today, you know, before this started. He's walking around out there talking to a lot of his friends and his cronies. And candidly, folks, I've seen younger faces on cash. I mean, this is a man who appeared early on, the season opener of Star Search, when the grand prize was fire. This is Mr. G. This is the man we know. And you know, a lot of people say, you know, what about Mr. G? He's a reserved kind of guy. Boring? You say boring? I wouldn't say boring. I wouldn't say boring, but I can tell you this. Sheep count him to go to sleep. The first time Mr. G invited me over his house, it was a great night. Exciting. We sat on the TV and watched the couch. And it went downhill from there, trust me. But, I mean, he said, you don't go out much, Mr. G, right? I mean, his family knows he doesn't go out much at all. I mean, getting him to go out to a movie theater is big. I mean, I went out to the movies with him one time, and he looked like an Amish guy who walked into a Best Buy for the first time in his life. I mean, his back goes out more than he does. That's what I'm saying. But, you know, it's really, truly, I mean, it's a great thing. What an outing to put together for everybody here. I mean, I think about it. I mean, why give this man a dinner when some of the great Italians in the history of the world have never been given a dinner? Joe Torre. First baseman who was too chicken to be a catcher because he didn't want to be known as Chicken Cacciatore, never got a dinner. But we give this man a dinner. Christopher Columbus, the great Italian explorer, who said to Queen Isabella, I keep telling you, the world is round, you're the one that's flat. He never got a dinner, but we give Mr. G a dinner. Julius Caesar, who says he was being stabbed by Brutus. I guess you know you've blown the Christmas bonus. He never got a dinner, but we give Mr. G a dinner. But I'll say this about Mr. G. I heard this story, Mr. G, when you were a young teacher here in the school, you actually delivered Chinese food, right? Is this true? 15 years he delivered Chinese food. And I probably shouldn't delve into this, but Joe asked me, being a good Catholic school, if I can tell this joke. And that's my intro into the Chinese joke. But these three Chinese guys are whitewater rafting. I'm going way out on this one, trust me. Way out. You got any martial arts guys here that are going to kick my ass into this joke? Okay. I'm going to go for it. So these three Chinese guys are whitewater rafting, and they capsize. The currents are just incredible. They capsize, they're killed instantly, and they're waiting to get to heaven. St. Peter wakes up, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and he's looking out over this line. It's got to be miles long, and he says, listen, give me the megaphone. He says, there's no way in the world I'm going to get through this line. So he gets on the megaphone, he says, look, I'll tell you right now, the first qualification to get into heaven, you got to be a Christian. If you're not a Christian, get off the line. So about 35% of the line gets off, and he gets to the first Chinese guy about 2 p.m. He says, look, he says, you're a Christian? He says, well, oh, big Christian, yeah. He says, all right. He says, tell me a little something about Easter. I said, oh, Easter. He says, big fat man in red suit come down chimney with lots of toys. Oh, he says, that's Christmas. Get out of here. Gets to the second Chinese guy, he says, are you a Christian? You can take these off now. I'm not reading. I don't know what I'm doing with these. When you're bald, you like to wear glasses. Anyway, so the guy says, oh yeah, oh, big Christian, yeah. He says, all right, tell me something about Easter. The guy says, oh, Easter. He says, lots of people sit around the table, big turkey, yum, yum, eat them up. He says, no. He says, that's Thanksgiving, get out of here. Gets to the third Chinese guy and he says, all right. He says, you're a Christian? The guy says, yeah, oh, big Christian, yeah. He says, all right, tell me something about Easter. The guy says, oh, Easter. Easter. He says, Jesus died on the cross. Take Jesus from cross, put Jesus in tomb. He says, roll rock in front of tomb. St. Peter says, fantastic, keep going. Yeah, he says, roll rock away from tomb. He says, Jesus come out, see shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. Anyway, Joe, how did we get into that joke? You told me you want me to tell. Detention, right? I went to Holy Family, not Holy Cross, but I had a few of those D's too. Oh, here we go. Schaefer's moving already. Where is Schaefer anyway? Is he standing over? Schaefer, a lot of people don't know this, but he's a Dutchman, he's a German, and he made it big in basketball, but he actually was on the marching band team for a long time, but you know those German guys in the marching bands, right? You can't keep them in there. I'm telling you right now, this is Schaefer. Luckily, he had a good outside shot, and he made it on the basketball team, but anyway, we have, yes. Do what? Oh, okay, here we go. We have a special gift and a special guest to give it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for Mr. G, and a special guest is going to appear to do this and award him with this gift. So without further ado, here we go.
How did I ever get like this? I don't know. I'm no longer the Don. He's no longer the Dean. But I want everybody to know here around this table, faculties, administrators, the clergy, we're gonna send Giuseppe away on a little trip. A little trip to the old country, Greece and Italy. Because we go more than 40 miles an hour. And then he's going to get a hot air balloon. It's going to take him right into the open. Mr. Giannuzzi, on behalf of the 5 families, I want to say, God bless you.
I know it was on my dad's bucket list. Originally it was an idea of mine and my sisters and our family to send them to Italy. The word got out, so it turned into a group gift, so the cruise, the flights, everything's all taken care of and then some due to these generous gifts. Served, guys. Sorry we went a little bit long, but didn't serve, and we'll be back with you in a few minutes. Thank you.